All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling the one thing that more than any strategy or hot tip really separates the traders who make it from those who don't. It's not about being a genius stock picker. Nope, it's about making sure you have chips on the table to play again tomorrow. We're talking about position sizing. We're talking about risk.
And let's start with a philosophy that is just everything. The first step of winning is to ensure that you won't lose. Just let that sink in for a second. You see, amateurs are obsessed with how much they can win on a single trade. But the pros, they are obsessed with defense. They're obsessed with protecting their capital, because they know that's what gives them the chance to place hundreds, even thousands of trades. That right there is the whole game.
And this mindset is so critical because of this famous and kind of brutal statistic. 90% of traders fail. They lose money. But the real question is, why? It's almost never because their ideas are totally wrong. It's because their risk management is, well, non-existent. They swing for the fences on one or two trades, get completely wiped out, and never give their actual strategy the time it needs to work.
So, how do we make sure we end up in that top 10%? Well, it all starts by understanding the two main levers that actually control your profitability: your win rate and your risk-to-reward ratio. Think of these two things working together, okay? On one hand, you've got your win rate. That's pretty simple. How often are you right? But on the other hand, you've got the professional's secret weapon, the risk-to-reward ratio. All this means is, for every single dollar you're willing to lose if you're wrong, how many dollars are you aiming to make if you're right? So a 1-to-2 ratio just means you're trying to win twice what you're risking.
And here's where the magic really happens. You can be wrong half the time, literally 50% of the time, and still make a lot of money. Just imagine this. You make 10 trades, you lose on 5 of them, and you lose $100 each time. That's a $500 loss. Bummer. But you win on the other 5 trades and you make $200 each time. That's a $1,000 gain. Your net profit? $500. This is why your risk to reward is your most powerful tool, period.
Okay, so this brings us to the next massive concept. You have to survive the inevitable. And what's inevitable? Losing streaks. They will happen. I don't care how good you are. The only question is whether your account can take the hit.
So let me ask you a question. Let's say you're a pretty good trader. You're winning 60% of the time. Do you think hitting 5 losses in a row is some kind of freak accident? A once-in-a-lifetime event? What's your gut say?
The real answer might actually shock you. Even with a fantastic 60% win rate, there is still a 1% chance of hitting 5 losers back-to-back. Now, 1% might not sound like a lot, but over a career of thousands of trades, it is not a question of if it will happen, it is a guarantee of when. You have to plan for it, or it's going to be what ends your trading career.
In this chart, wow, this shows you exactly why those streaks are absolute account killers. Just look at the math here. If you lose 25% of your account, you need to make a 33% gain just to get back to where you started. And if you lose half your account, a 50% loss, you need to literally double your remaining money, 100% gain, just to break even. That's the deep, dark hole that big losses dig for you.
So, how do we avoid digging that hole? Simple. We follow one single non-negotiable rule. The pros risk a tiny, tiny fraction of their capital on any one trade. We're talking 1 to 3%. Some even go as low as 0.5%. Now let's think back to that 5-loss streak. The trader risking 1%, they're down a very manageable 5%. The trader risking 10% on each trade, they're down 50%, and now they're staring up that impossible climb we just saw.
Okay, so we get it. We know why we have to risk small. Now for the practical part. How do we actually do it? How do we apply this to every single trade? This, my friends, is the position sizing calculation.
But first, let's get our definition straight, because this is a super common point of confusion. Position size is the total value of the thing you're trading. Your risk is the actual cash you will lose if your stop loss gets hit. They are not the same thing. And the formula we're about to look at is the bridge that connects the two.
Here it is, the 3-step formula that puts you in control. Step 1, figure out your risk amount in dollars. So, if you have a $50,000 account and you're using our 2% rule, that's $1,000. That's your max pain. Step 2, know your invalidation distance. This is just the percentage move from your entry to your stop loss. Let's say it's 4%. And step 3, we just do a little division. You take your risk amount, that's $1,000, and you divide it by your invalidation distance, which is 0.04. Boom, $25,000. That's your correct position size for this specific trade.
But hold on,
That invalidation distance we just used, you can't just pull that number out of thin air. It has to be part of a plan. Before you can calculate anything, you need to know exactly what you're doing. Let's call it the Trading Trident.
The Trident has 3 prongs, 3 parts, and you have to define every single one before you enter a trade. Number 1, what's your entry trigger? Why are you getting in right here, right now? Number 2, what's your invalidation level? Where is your trade idea proven wrong? That's your stop loss. And number 3, what's your target? Where are you going to take your profits? This simple framework is what creates discipline.
Okay, let's put it all together. Let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine you've got a $100,000 account. You've decided you will never risk more than 3% on a single trade. And for this particular setup, based on your Trading Trident analysis, your stop loss needs to be 3% away from where you get in.
All right, let's run the numbers. Your risk amount is 3% of $100,000. That's $3,000. Your invalidation distance is 3%, or 0.03 as a decimal. So you take your risk amount, $3,000, and divide it by your invalidation distance, 0.03. And the result? A $100,000 position size. Now, stop and think about that. That's incredible. You get to control a position size equal to your entire account while only ever putting $3,000 of your capital on the line. This is how the pros play the game.
So what's the big idea here? What's the one thing you need to walk away with? It's all about shifting your mindset. You're not hunting for that one big score anymore. You're building a career through discipline. So here are the 4 things to burn into your brain. 1. Your number 1 job is defense. Protect your capital at all costs. 2. Make sure your winners are bigger than your losers. That risk-to-reward ratio is key. 3. Losing streaks are coming for you. Use small risk so you can live to fight another day. And 4, calculate your position size before every single trade. No exceptions, ever.
Seriously, forget the Hollywood version of trading. Real, lasting success doesn't come from one dramatic, all-in moment. It comes from the methodical, consistent, almost boring application of your edge, over and over again, using small, calculated bets that ensure you can never be knocked out of the game.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. After seeing how the pros approach risk, you have to ask yourself honestly, are you actually building a long-term trading career brick by brick, or are you just sitting at the casino waiting for one lucky roll of the dice? The choice is yours. Thanks for tuning in.